Sacks, 6 sacks, right? They're going to do 3 and 3. So just standing to the left and the right. It's 3, and the other 3 will be in this sack. Why don't we get the sacks like lined up here? Does that work? On either side of the podium there? Is that okay? Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's, we're offset now. Is it 4 and 2 or 4 and 3? That works, okay. 1 second. Sorry. All right. Excuse me, sir. Good morning. Thank you, everybody, for coming. My name is James Covington. I am the Regional Communications Director for ICE Northeast. More importantly, today, I am the Communications Director for ICE Boston. Thank you for coming out to our press conference announcing the results of a recent enhanced immigration targeted operation. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to the Acting Director of ICE, Todd Lyons.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before we begin, I just want to take a special thank you to thank our partners. Without partnership, this is really key to the success of the ICE mission and DHS as a whole. To U.S. Attorney Leah Foley, the Boston Field Office Director Patricia Hyde, Special Agent in Charge Michael Crow, Mike Manning, Customs and Protection, Boston, Scott Reed of the ATF, Matt O'Brien at Diplomatic Security Service, Stephen Bello, DEA, Brian Keyes, U.S. Marshals, and the men and women of the U.S. Border Patrol that are with us every day. These brave men and women have worked tirelessly to arrest approximately 1,500 criminal aliens and illegal aliens during Operation Patriot. In the beginning of May, ICE and its federal and state partners launched the whole of government effort to remove dangerous criminal aliens from all over the Commonwealth. I'll let our Boston Field Office Director give you the specific numbers of Operation Patriot, but what I can tell you is this, that hundreds of brave officers and agents risk their lives every day here in the Commonwealth to remove dangerous criminals from Boston, Worcester, Springfield, Lowell, Lawrence, Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, and several other communities across the Commonwealth. of the criminal aliens that were arrested by the teams with drug traffickers, sex offenders, murderers, and foreign fugitives.
Massachusetts. ICE and our federal law enforcement partners remain committed to protecting our communities and prioritizing the well-being of our public by locating, arresting, and removing criminal alien offenders and making our New England communities a safer place to live. Now, Special Agent in Charge, Homeland Security Investigations.
Thank you. Good morning, I think it is. My sincere thanks to Director Lyons, U.S. Attorney Foley, and all of our partners with whom I stand shoulder to shoulder with every day to ensure the safety and security of our communities. ICRO, CBP, U.S. Coast Guard, ATF, DEA, DSS, FBI, U.S. Marshal Service, the IRS, U.S. Attorney's Office, and many others. Today, as we announce the arrest of nearly 1,500 illegal aliens over the last 30 days, I want to reiterate, this is not a victory lap. Today is a collective reaffirmation of our commitment to ensuring the public safety and national security of our communities. With each agency bringing unique authorities and expertise, HSI Special Agents will continue a whole-of-government approach to take the fight to transnational criminal actors and organizations who poison our communities, who exploit and victimize our children, who defraud our citizens and government systems, who illegally harbor and employ aliens, who perpetrate violence, and all of those who choose to ignore the rule of law. It should be no secret by now that you will continue to see all of our special agents and officers in your communities conducting daily enforcement actions 24/7. I caution those who try to impede or obstruct operations, or those who dare to threaten or assault our law enforcement officers. We have been and will continue to be working with the U.S. Attorney's Office to investigate and prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law. Our job is to uphold the Constitution, and that's exactly what we're doing. I join my colleagues when I share my heartfelt thanks for the work of the frontline officers and agents who put their lives on the line every day in support of this great nation. Thank you.
Okay, we'll take some questions.
Todd, will you
Director Lyons, can you speak to the roughly 50%? Okay, we'll get ABC News here. Luke?
Two questions. Number one, do you have any update on the Milford teenager that was detained by ICE over the weekend, and where is he? Do you have any status on where that person is? The second question is, the attack in Colorado overstated pizza, according to DHS, is in the U.S. illegally. Do you have any information on the suspect? Was he on law enforcement's radar? And can you tell us about the numbers?
So I'll take the I'll take Colorado first. So I'll defer to the FBI on that one. It's an active joint terrorism investigation, obviously. Still in the early stages that ICE was able to identify that he had overstayed his visa. While he did have a work authorization permit, it was expired. So with that, I will say that there are millions of individuals like this that we are attempting to locate from the past administration that weren't properly screened that were allowed in. I will tell you that's a huge effort for ICE right now. In regards to this gentleman, I can't give you any intel as far as it's a joint terrorism task force investigation, and more will be coming out, but I'll defer to my partners in the FBI for that one.
Wait, what about Marcelo Gomes? It's over the weekend.
In regard to Marcelo Gomes, he remains in ICE custody. He was not the target of the investigation, but like we have repeatedly said, sanctuary policies put us in a position to go out into communities and look for people. When jurisdictions don't cooperate with ICE and we don't arrest people in custodial arrests, then we must go out into the community. And when we go out into the community and we find others who are unlawfully here, we are going to arrest them. We've been completely transparent with that. He's 18 years old, he's unlawfully in this country. And unfortunately, we had to go to Milford to look for someone else, and we came across him, and he was arrested. That's where that stands.
You're looking for someone dangerous and violent?
Well, I'll take that one. So we're looking for his father. So obviously he's the father of the year because brought his son up here illegally as well. And yes, we had intelligence from a local law enforcement agency. We were looking for the father. And like Field Officer Director High said, they made a traffic stop on that vehicle, which was the father's vehicle. He was driving that vehicle. But like any local law enforcement officer, if you encounter someone that has a warrant, or like I said, is here illegally, we will take action on that. We're doing the job that ICE should have been doing all along, and that we enforce all immigration laws.
What's the
So what is
danger on his
dangerous,
father?
what is
What's the
dangerous
danger on his
about a
father?
high school junior, he was about to play in the graduation ceremony, playing the band the next day, I guess, what is the danger of the 18-year-old to that community?
So I'll put it back on you. What about an 18-year-old who's just stopped for a traffic violation by Mass State Police, who's wanted with being a habitual traffic offender on his way to graduation? Would you be asking that same question to the Mass State Police for not arresting him? Like, I didn't say he was dangerous. I said he's in this country illegally, and we're not going to walk away from anybody.
So where is he? Is he having due process? Does he have a lawyer?
Yeah, well, the whole due process thing, ICE doesn't just scoop people off the street and remove them. Everyone gets due process, and that is what the U.S. Attorney's Office for. It's what the immigration courts are for. They all do that. He will go in front of an immigration judge. He'll have the opportunity to post bond. But again, I'm just going to ask you a question. Boston police stopped an 18-year-old on the way to high school. Are we having this conversation right now?
There would be a crime, there would be some evidence.
It happens every day. Every day, there are multiple 18-year-olds arrested. But yet, we are focused on this one. And I will say, his dad hasn't turned himself in yet, and his dad knows he's the target of it. So,
What's his dad targeted for? What's his dad targeted for?
Sorry, the other question. So the governor says Massachusetts is not a sanctuary state, but your teams don't receive assistance when you hit like all these different counties across, not just in Boston, but in these other suburbs and places across the state. So what's your response to the governor on that, and how difficult is it for your teams to not get that assistance? Like when you went to Operation Tidal Wave in Florida, it's a different scenario. You come to Boston, it seems like it's a little bit more difficult.
I think it's a matter of semantics, right? We can say we're not a sanctuary state, but when people are arrested for local charges, drug traffickers who are peddling poison in our communities are walking out the door, not turned over to ICE, what does that sound like to all of you? That's sanctuary. When states and local jurisdictions don't cooperate with ICE and they let bad actors walk out into the community, they let child rapists just walk back out, $500 bail, that is sanctuary. So it's fine to say that you're not, but your actions absolutely show something different.
As for the search operation, U.S. Supreme Court last week also a ruling out of response to block the administration of immigration for all about and a couple weeks earlier, the Supreme Court also allowed the administration we talked about they said ICE is now the rest of the people covered by those programs.
well, in that case, I would refer you over to the Citizen Immigration Services. They handle that. ICE is only the enforcement arm of the immigration process. So I can just say that anyone that does no longer has protective status would be in this country legally, and ICE would take an enforcement action.
As for the search, can you tell me more about the search operation here and exactly, what are the officers, where are the officers coming from to try to help in terms of resources? Are these actual ICE agents or officers, or are they being contracted outside of the agency? And also, how do you know that they're properly vetted here to conduct and follow the same laws?
So what I can tell you is no one's contracted. All the partners up here are Title VIII immigration designated officers. So every federal agency has a Title VIII authority. So these are federal law enforcement special agents and officers from all over the DHS, DOJ. Like I said, it's a whole of government approach. These aren't any contract individuals. But you can see what the numbers, like I said, we ran an operation before up here. And while they were on targeted operations for criminal aliens that were released, other ones were being released at the same time. 24 hours a day, criminal aliens are being released all over Massachusetts. The only way to account and take these other individuals back into custody was to go ahead and partner with our other DHS partners that are here and DOJ partners to ensure that we have the proper manpower to respond whenever someone's released from custody.
On that point, on that same question.
One question. Can you guys offer a few more specifics on the charges?
Are you counting illegal reentry as among those 709 people as a significant charges versus how many were convicted and violent versus non-violent crimes? These people?
Yes, those include people who had been previously deported, were found back in the Commonwealth, and have been charged again with illegal reentry.
So how many were charged with something other than?
I don't have that number, but I can tell you, for example, on May 7th, I believe, ICE took a man into custody who had been removed from the country 5 previous times. He had been arrested 9 times on serious criminal charges, including assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, indecent assault and battery on a person, kidnapping, unarmed robbery, threatening, and intimidation, and he had a conviction for an OUI. Another man who was arrested in Worcester had been deported 4 previous times. He came back into this country, had 3 open OUI charges. Each time he was arrested for OUI, he was released without notifying ICE so that they could go and pick him up safely and securely and put him back in deportation. It was only after he violated one of the terms of his release for that 3rd OUI that ICE was notified and the detainer was allowed to be executed.
Wouldn't it be breaking the
Thank you very much. That's all the time we have. I'm sorry.
He was being charged, he was being held on violations of his release.
Why do the agents wear masks?
Why they wear masks?